Hi, I'm Scott Imig.
And I'm John Fischetti from the School of Education at the University of Newcastle. We're here today to give you an overview and introduction to our concept for school leadership in particular called bringing the good weather. Scott, what is the connection of bringing the good weather to the literature that's already out there around educational and particularly school leadership?
Well, John, as you know, there's more than 40 major studies that have been conducted looking at school leadership. And these studies have looked at every aspect of what instructional leaders do. Leithwood talks about the fact that if a leader sets a vision, that can in fact lead his or her staff forward. Strong talks about the fact that you have to hold your staff to high expectations, and again, that will lead your staff forward. There is an immense body of research that looks at individual practices, and in some cases attempts to look more at the system. But what we're trying to do is pull back to look at more of a conceptual idea, big picture idea. You want to talk to us a little bit more about how the bringing the good weather works?
Yes, so I think we came up with this idea. I was using that expression, bringing the good weather, as sort of an anecdote for the attempt to kind of get the rain clouds away on a crazy day running a school, and how do you move it forward? And you said, why don't we take that and do something with it, align it to the literature and propose it? So I think its roots come from much more of a trying to connect the research and theory to practice. And in doing so, I think we've analyzed and come up with some elements that synthesize that literature you were speaking of, which is around finding your vision, gaining a compass, understanding the coaching role that we all must play in helping ourselves move forward, particularly as instructional leadership. The understanding of our real purpose in schooling is to drive learning, and the engagement as an outward face that's just as important, and ultimately the bringing the good weather itself. So those elements are the components of this framework, which I guess we'll say is the 41st that we're introducing to the literature. Scott, will you take us through each one, and we'll see if we can diagram that a bit?
Sure. Well, the very first element in our good weather instrument is this notion that effective leaders actually set a vision. They have a good vision. They know where they want to be. It's looking forward. And so we believe that most good leaders need to come into an organization and say, the status quo is not enough. We need to take ourselves to another level. The second aspect of the good weather is what we call the good compass. And what happens, as everybody knows, is it is very quick to lose sight of where you're going. And the good compass is the ability of a leader to keep everybody on track. To say, let's not lose sight of that vision. We know we're up to our neck right now, but let's not lose sight of where we're going. The third aspect of the good weather is something that we refer to as good coaching. And it's a unique aspect of our concept, the good weather, is that we really believe that for any organization to reach their potential, you have to remove some of the hierarchy, and you have to begin to work together as colleagues. And so in the good coaching, we really push school leaders to think about their staff and their team as individuals who bring a tremendous amount of ability to their organization and helping to tap into that. The fourth piece we talk about is what we call good learning. And that's the notion that any organization can't ever stop learning. And that should be a no-brainer for educational organizations. But unfortunately, it's not. So it's immersing yourself in the current literature. It's forward-looking. It's trying to figure out how does the learning inform where we're going. The next piece we talk about is what we call good engagement. Good engagement. And good engagement is really about bringing in all the resources that a school community can take advantage of. It's a recognition that a school or an organization sits in the midst of a context. There's a history and there's a culture and there's a huge community. And it's tapping into that. It's tapping into that group to actually propel the organization forward. So John, if you look at these pieces, talk to me about how all these come together to form the good weather.
If you think about the complexity of just trying to do what you just described and put it in the reality of a real automobile in motion going 110 down the freeway, what you get is the sense that on any given day, it's really difficult to put these in play. We have a lot of adults, a lot of children, a lot of needs, a lot of crises du jour. And the real key element of the effective leadership we're promoting and bringing the good weather is the circle around all of it, which will turn into our little ray of sunshine. Ultimately, the good weather comes from the opportunity to, in spite of what's happening that might be that the cup is half empty, that in your mind as a leader, you're always driving a positive force, always taking it forward, even when there's something that hasn't gone well, and providing that inspirational leadership that overcomes sort of the lethargy or a chance for staff to get cynical because of the politics or the issues, or just because there's so many crises facing the families and the students and the teachers themselves. So bringing the good weather is surrounded by the ultimate element of a leader's ability to do that every day. And with the vision, compass, coaching, learning, and engagement mindset, being able to add the substance to that real sort of important disposition of positive attitude and connecting that to the instruction in the school. So what we hope we've tried to do is to give you a new lens in which you might be able to self-assess your own attributes and drive your own professional learning. In what we do from here, we'd like to work with you to do a self-assessment around you, your staff, your school's ability to take bringing the good weather and put it in practice, describing what you believe you need additional experiences to help gain your attributes, and then to put this in play all simultaneously. Because the difference in leadership than in other roles in other settings is all of these have to happen all the time simultaneously to drive a school forward. And ultimately, for the individual leader, they have to feel that they're bringing the good weather is adding up to a productive and amazing career. So we keep those leaders on track to keep doing it, not just today and not just this week, but year after year, so the school might show benefit for it, its learners, and its community.
Thanks, John. I'm hopeful that we can work with you to bring the good weather, and we're looking forward to furthering this work in collaboration.
Thanks.